We'd like to welcome each and every individual to the Voices of Integrity podcast for the PB Church. Again, as a reminder, the PB Church is not like any other church you've ever been to. It doesn't ask for any money, doesn't accept any money, it doesn't tell you not to go to your current church. And anything, just as a reminder, anything beyond 30 minutes is a gift from you to me to you, and us to one another. And so we had our Spring Fest yesterday, and that was pretty crazy. And I'm heading off in a couple hours to go to West Virginia with my son, Ben, and we're going to do whitewater rafting, 4.5, I guess, which can be a bit dangerous. And so I woke up this morning with just, my gracious, it's like so crazy. So we've got, I don't know, probably 8 hours of material, but we won't take 8 hours. So Luke, he went to a seminar with a number of people, number of guys, and he says, I said, what's the number one thing you got from it? And he said, words are important. And so I agree with that, but maybe not in the way he thinks or the way that was taught. He said, the speaker, what Luke heard the speaker say was that when we speak something, it happens. But yet, most of the people around me, their word, they speak stuff, it has the opposite. It's like if somebody says they're going to do something, most likely they won't do it because they lack integrity. I remember thinking about, or remember reading a few years back where somebody says that if you have goals and you talk about them, you're less likely to achieve the goals, which was totally contrary to everything I'd ever heard before in my life. And I read on in the article, and the psychologist said his theory for that is that you get a dopamine hit in your brain about when you talk about goals. And so
meaning that you get an excitement or
yep.
Okay, and then when that excitement wears off,
You talk again.
Okay.
You just keep talking. You just keep talking about goals and keep talking about them and talking about them
and don't take action.
And you don't take action. You don't achieve it because, talking about your goals, my son-in-law, Josh, he calls it word lettuce. I didn't even know there was a word out there. Well, I don't know that was talking about goals. That's just talking. It's just talk to talk. And it's the most fascinating thing. I met a new guy at pickleball, and I think it took 9 days, which is pretty amazing, before I told him about the 10 reasons why people talk. I'm like, can you share why are you sharing this with me? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, there's 10 reasons why people talk. So I've given this a little bit of thought. And so a few years back, we were in a small group, and a woman in there said something about reading the Bible, and she said, capture every thought. Now, I had heard that before many, many times. I had thought about that many, many times, but for that particular time, I think her name was Nancy. And it's like yesterday, it was interesting, frustrating, exciting, everything. We're playing volleyball, and there's an Airbnb next to us, and there's I don't know, 3, 4, 5 Amish families that are staying there over the weekend. We invited them over to our Spring Fest. So they came over and we played against them and destroyed them like 21-2. And so we said, hey, we switched sides, and it's like, well, I don't want to destroy them again. So I said, well, do we want to switch up sides? And everybody just kind of stood there. So I said, I'll just go over to the other side. Melissa, being my lovely, supportive daughter, she laughed and she says, really, Dad? Like one guy, and who's playing on my side, Kenny and Jason and and Luke, a bunch of the young guys, really good at volleyball. And Kenny, it was funny. It was funny because they were talking in Amish Dutch about something about volleyball or something. And I don't know, something was said and I didn't know what they were talking about. And Kenny's like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I'm like, I don't know if he's talking about me or somebody else. And they all laughed and they're talking about me. And I'm like, you know what? These young guys, they got so much. They just think they're so, like, one guy can't make a difference. Well, Luke said he was concerned because it was 19-15 or 14. And there were 3 key mistakes that any one of those 3 key mistakes, if I had done something different, we would have beat them. It ended up being 19-21. And it was funny because Melissa later asked, like, who won? And Kenny and Jason are like, we did, we did. It's like, you did by very little. I would not be proudful of that game. I would not be proud. And it's just funny to me on people and how, I don't know, people just like, so in looking at, Christians are notorious for this, a lot of talk. I mean, they talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. I've shared this before. Maybe it's in flow. Hopefully it's in flow. I said to Edward, what was his last name? Anyway, slips me now. But he was a business owner and a friend of mine, and he went ahead and I said, and he went to Moody Bible Institute, and I said, pastors just, they just irritate me. And he's like, why is that, Mark? I said, because they don't have integrity. They don't have integrity. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, they say they're going to do things and they don't do them. And he's like, well, Mark, they're human. Everybody makes mistakes. It's just insane. It's just when people say that, I just want to, and those are the same exact people. I mean, the same exact people say, I'm not perfect. When somebody says I'm not perfect, I just want to go ahead and slap them. I just do. I just want to slap them. I just want to be like, what would give you the impression that anyone, especially me, would think you're perfect? Because I've never thought that in my life. Like you're not talking with intention. So people who say nobody's perfect, those are the people subconsciously, they think that they think they are. I mean, not perfect. They think they're really good people because they've never internalized scripture. They've never internalized scripture. They've never really understood. The heart is deceitful and desperately wicked. Who can know it? They've never understood that. And so Edward, I was when I said to him, he says, no, nobody's perfect. They're men that just like everybody else pastors are. And I said, Edward, we've known each other for, over 20 years. Is there ever once that I said I was going to do something that I didn't do? And he paused. He says, no, 20 years. I said that to Kenny the other day. We've known each other for 4 years. And I said that to him. I said, Kenny, is there anything I've ever said I was going to do that I didn't do? He said, well, you had mentioned that you were going to go ahead and give my parents a gift. for raising me, and you didn't a year, 2 years ago. I was surprised that because I remember the conversation. I didn't like I wasn't clear in my communication or something. It was fine. It was okay. So if there's anything ever that I say I'm going to do with you guys and I don't do it, you need to say something. So what did I do? I went ahead and made that happen and gave his parents a gift. And so people, it's just, and then I talked to a guy yesterday and we're helping him, Nora and Anita and we meet with him on Saturdays at 7 o'clock. And we're working on raising $5 million for ADHD because his son, 10 years ago, 19 years old, committed suicide. And we talked yesterday about kindness. It was a fascinating podcast. And we talked about kindness versus being nice, niceness versus kindness. Often people, they don't really think about that. And so, like, why don't people have significant conversations? When I asked Alvin Miller that, he said, because people don't want to be vulnerable. So you can't have a significant conversation without vulnerability. I'm like, huh, I've never thought of that before. And so, what prevents deep conversations, deep friendships? There's patterns of consistency. There's reasons and excuses that people come up with. It's just fascinating. This is why I think that people don't want to attend PB church, which is fine. I'm okay with that. They maybe shouldn't. Maybe they were created to be. Like, it's fascinating. I went to years ago. Like, why do I have so many memories of significant things from the past? It's just strange. I mean, I'm 62 years old. My memory is supposed to be going down. My mind is supposed to be going down. My body is supposed to be going down. Everything's supposed to be going down. I don't feel like I'm going down. I and so I went to this men's group, kind of hanging out at some guy's house. We went there for a few days. There are maybe 15 of us. There was a guy that did a 40-day fast, and so I talked to him. And I said something about, I think there's 3,600 people that had expressed interest in spiritual things in our business. And we're touching those people on a regular basis. And he's like, wow, that's pretty amazing. Like, how are you doing that? Like, how does that work? And I explained it to him. And then it hit me. Like, it talks about 2 or 3 places in the Bible, and the rocks will cry out. Like, if we as Christians don't share Christ, it's not a problem to God. Like, God is not like, oh my goodness, look at all of those really good Christians that aren't sharing Christ. Like, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. No, God's already got a plan, and I think that plan is already being executed. So I'm explaining it to him, and all of a sudden it's like, I was speechless. I'm like, you got to be kidding. Because it hit me how we were doing it. George Barna years ago did research on fundamental, so Bible preaching, teaching churches. And he said there's one person that comes to Christ every 2 years in an average church. Now the mega churches, they've taken care of that. Now they've got, I don't know, 10, 20, 100. But, you got 1,500 people or 15,000 people coming. I mean, so are the numbers any better? And so I thought, how are we doing it? Well, stones, the computer revolution. I'm thinking, did God create all of this? I mean, he allowed it, but did he create it because he's so tired? He's exhausted with Christians that go to church and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and they don't care. They just don't care. They really don't. See, you don't get this at a regular church, because if you talk about this at a regular church, then people, like Jesus, like how many pastors talk like Jesus? They don't. They just don't. I thought we're supposed to be like Jesus. When Jesus talked, what happened what happened to all of his followers? They all went away because he said hard things. What pastor's doing that? They're not. They're just not. Give this to your pastor. Just give it to them and see what they say. So computers are made up of what? Computer chips. And what are chips made up of? They're made up of silicon. Where does silicon come from? It comes from sand. Where does sand come from? It comes from rocks. It's like, is God just fed up with the Christians saying, you know what? I'm just tired of you guys. I'm going to do it myself. I don't know. It's fascinating because my youngest brother, Ken, he was a pastor, went to seminary. And I just am stunned how you can go to seminary and you can't walk away with some pretty, I would say, Christian 101 things, like the mirror. Do you look in the mirror? It's just crazy. So I said, God doesn't need the church. Are you, like, he started shaking, like, like he doesn't. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, God is God. He doesn't need the church. The church is actually a backup because his first plan didn't work. The Jewish nation, you know what? The Jewish nation was not a good steward of what it was. And so, he brought in the church age, but God doesn't need the church. It just doesn't. It's God. I'm not saying don't go to church, and I'm not saying bad things about pastors or the church. I'm not saying any of that. Well, you're inferring it. No, I'm laying it down. You, as an individual, as a Christian, you get to decide, and you as a pastor get to decide, like, what percentage of truth is there in this? So do we as pastors go ahead and care more about people being happy with us? Because they got to be happy or they're going to go to a big, big church, one of the big mega churches that have all the programs, all the music, all the everything, and you come in there like an opium den and you just sit in the pew and you feel spiritual. What are you smiling about, Karen? Go ahead. Sorry, unmute. Go ahead, unmute. Yeah, unmute. Yeah.
That's a true statement.
I mean, there's some truth to it. It's fascinating. I'm just realizing people who take things to the extreme, especially when they take what I say. Mark said this. I didn't say that. Well, you meant it. No, I say what I mean what I say. I'm not like a lot of people who go ahead and don't say what they mean, don't mean what they say. No. I'm not saying 100% of the time. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to church. I'm not saying all pastors. I'm just saying, like, but nobody challenges anybody. They just don't. And it's fascinating to me. I mean, it's just, I go to Act Like Men conference from James McDonald, and there's all these men beating their chest, and there's music, and there's, all this stuff. Like at our church, there's Man Fest, and it's like it's quite an event. There's these cool looking cars and all these things, and it's this huge thing. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, like, we're going to stand before a holy God, us and our Creator, someday, and we're going to give an account. And is he going to say, well done, thou good and faithful servant? Or is he going to say, Mark, you're a loser. You are absolutely pathetic. You're a pathetic husband, pathetic father, a pathetic man. And I think being raised Baptist, GRBC, I hope somehow that's escaped me, because I think the GRBC is like a lot of Christians. And it's like when God's like, you're pathetic, Mark, I'm going to say, well, no. I went to church and I did this and I did. Am I going to explain myself to God?
No.
And God's going to say, oh, I didn't realize that, Mark. You are an amazing person. I don't think so, but maybe, I don't know. I don't know God. People are so confident about God. It's like he's infinite. Always been, always will be. Like, Jill, what would you like to cover today?
This is just very interesting. Um, you're right. Most people don't challenge somebody else. And I think for myself, if I don't challenge somebody, it's because I'm lazy. Or I just don't want to hear what they have to say. I don't care. And if I'm being honest.
Right? Which you are, which is why I like you. It's just you're so unusual. It's like you're just honest. I mean, going, this weekend, my son Ben and I are going, he's 27 years old, and we're going whitewater rafting in West Virginia. It's a 4.5. There's danger, possible death. So, brings back when I went with a 4.5 river rafting with my two other kids in Denver. Reminds me of when I went skydiving with my son Jonathan. It's fascinating. Like the thing after my grandmother died, then my dad died a year later, and then my mom died a year later from that. After, through three deaths of three significant people in my life. After my mom died, I'm like, what I love most about death, it awakens people. But it's only for a short period of time. Unless it's your 30-year-old son who dies of, suicide, then, that one's going to stay with you forever. And that's okay. That's okay. That's good. So, but I don't understand. I don't understand why, like on Saturdays, like the Baptists did teach, Lord willing. You're always supposed to say Lord willing. That's biblical. Like if I have another podcast beyond this one, because I might not, it might be my last one, and that's okay. What's strange is it might not, happen in the, in the 4.5. It might happen because somebody's stupid driving. They're just not paying attention. But Lord willing, like next Saturday at 7 o'clock, we're going to talk with Tim about kindness versus, being nice. What's the difference between nice and kind? Well, I think we might have talked about that one on this. Maybe Jill brought something up. She saw, I don't know, somebody brought something up.
Yeah, I had that thing that I sent to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you could send it again, I don't know if it got processed. Well, maybe I can see if it got processed. If I go into voicesofintegrity.com, so voicesofintegrity.com, and you go to podcast, and then you go to powerful video libraries. So this is short videos that have changed my life forever. Every one of these. And they're like, I don't know, 5 minutes. They're really short, videos. Then there's a podcast underneath each one of these that, where we talk about the video and why it was so significant to me. See, it's weird to me on how people watch things, see things, read things, go places, and it's like a dopamine hit. It's like an opium den. It's just, It's like it's just they get motivated, inspired, and then they don't follow through. Well, how motivated and inspired were you really? Anyways, oh, this is an interesting one. This one right here. This one is like Jill knows Kevin King when his son died. He was like, I don't know, 25, brain aneurysm, just gone. Just all of a sudden, Kevin gets a call. Your son just died. 25 years old. Going to Moody Bible Institute. And Jonathan, our son, wrote, developed this video, created this video. It was when he showed it to Kevin. When he showed it to Kevin, he went ahead and Kevin started crying. So there's a whole bunch of them. This one here is just so cool. The touch of the master's hand. Oh my goodness, that one's it's magical. It's absolutely one of the coolest things. If people could just see. And after for those that can stay around beyond the half an hour, I'll share the song that I wrote for Micaiah, my 6-year-old granddaughter. When my mom, when I was 8 years old, I bought some sour cream and onion potato chips for her. Sorry, when I was 9. And I gave them to her and she started crying. It's a powerful thing when a man or a boy can do something to make a woman cry. But Micaiah, she started crying and her mom did and her aunt did, and it was pretty interesting. So there's all these videos here that are really cool. Ooh, this is Lily. And she knows the secret to making women in your life happy. Like it was crazy. Oh, this was Jonathan's. There's all these really cool videos. This is a cool one. My daughter sent me this. Oh my goodness. These are amazing videos. So I don't know. I hope that, I think I asked. Let's see if it's there. There's one that Tim gave us. That's the cool one. No, Jill's didn't get in here. So Jill, yeah, if you can get that over again.
Okay.
We can get it into phase 2 because that was a really cool one. Karen, anything you want to accomplish today?
No, nothing in
Why
mind. I don't have anything in mind.
are you laughing?
I don't know.
Just happy.
Yeah, I'm always happy.
Just always happy. Rosanna, what would you like to accomplish today?
It looked to me like you had a ton of things you wanted to accomplish in that text.
Yeah, when I wake up, ooh, this is mine, especially after playing in a number of aggressive games of volleyball. Like, yeah, I'm on fire this morning. It's like, oh my gracious. And then the event and all of the people and all the things. And then the video of four of my granddaughters dancing with their hula hoops to Micaiah's song. Like, it's just crazy. Tim, what would you like to accomplish today?
Nothing.
Did you say nothing?
Yes.
All right. Anybody else have anything else you want to accomplish before we listen to my granddaughter's song? Like all the songs if you go to, again, voicesofintegrity.com, and then you go to podcast, and then you can just wander around up here. There's a bunch of cool stuff up here. But if you go to the table of contents, and then you go down here, the songs library. And so in the songs library, there's a bunch of cool songs. This is from the gentleman Road to Kindness. This is from the gentleman whose son died 10 years ago. And so he started a foundation or started a nonprofit. And so, fascinating guy. And so there's these songs. This is one that Nora wrote, Black Sheep with Wings, which is a really cool one. These are the other ones that I've written. So the ones that I write, to me, it's like you're gonna write them for a purpose. There's a purpose. This is the one Jonathan wrote 6 years before he died. It's fascinating to me. This was sent out to pastors, Shepherd or a Crown, and the founder, the founder of a small church, he said he didn't want to get him anymore. I'm like, why wouldn't you? That's just weird. Like, it's just like weird. It's just weird. It's just like, but that's what it is. It's the people. It's like the blind leading the blind. Terry Thompson. It's like, it's just goofy to me. I mean, it's just goofy. It's like, but you want to protect the pastors because they're so fragile. Like, they have all these emotional issues and they have to take time off. And it's like, no, that's not how. No, no, they're no. That's the problem. That's why there's so much anxiety and so much fear and so much everything today with young people, because they're protected from it. So they never get a chance to build up their immunity systems. It's like you got a problem for everything. And then I don't think that they got this right. This is McKay's Odia song, but I don't. We'll see. Yep, no. Well, yep, no. They didn't. Really frustrating. And so, David, watch this one. Like, I wanted to show it, but there's a backdoor path to it. There's a backdoor path to it.
Can I say something?
No, please do.
You act more like a Martha. Or
A
you
Martha?
do. Well, like, Martha and Mary.
Uh-huh.
You know how Martha just was always, or one of them. I can't remember which one it was, but oh, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do. You can't
Right.
you can't be silent, or I'm not silent, but be still sometimes.
Right. And Jesus rebuked her.
Well, he like
He did.
he didn't rebuke. I mean, he may have rebuked her at that time, but there's a time for both Mary and there's both Martha times. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
You're saying that about the pastors being having to go to retreats or whatever. They need some time. Is that what you were talking about?
Well, that's another thing too. I mean, like a pastor, of the church I go to, he went to a pastor's retreat, and it's just weird. Like, publicly on video, it's recorded on one of the sermons. He said, they go and they all compare how big their church is. It's essentially saying there's a whole bunch of pastors with a whole bunch of ego, and all they do is talk about how tough they have it or how great they have it, how much God's blessing them, and all of these things. And he's mocking all of his peers. But does he go there and does he say that?
Oh,
Probably not. Yeah. Tim said, Mark, you need to, or Tony rather said, just sit and, like, when you have the event, just. So I did. I went out on the deck over the pond and just sat there, meditated, and so it's fascinating. So here is the one that it seems like is the favorite, kind of, sort of. Not mine. I like the duet, but here's my granddaughter's song.
Micaiah, honey, Grandpa's here. And wow, sweetheart, your 6th year. Happy birthday, precious girl. You light up Grandpa's whole wide world. I wanted you to have this song to remind you all life long how deeply loved you'll always be by Grandpa and your family. You were a blessing from above, wrapped in healing, hope, and love. An answer whispered through the pain, a little sunshine after rain. And before your mommy even knew, God was already forming you. Your cousin touched her belly one day and softly whispered, baby, okay. Micaiah, honey, you're my special oh dear girl. Always chasing wonder in this great big world. We'll forever fly together through adventures near and far. Grandpa's little oh dear girl, that's exactly who you are. God knit you together lovingly in your mommy's womb so perfectly. There's never been and never will another heart like yours to fill. And Grandpa wants you to remember too, something God once told me true. You may seem ordinary at first sight, but steward your gifts and shine your light. See, honey, we are special, yes, it's true, but no more special than others too. So always walk with love and grace and kindness shining on your face. I remember when you were tiny and small, we hunted houses through it all. Then one day you smiled at me. Grandpa, I have an idea for an adventure, you said so sweetly. And that's when Grandpa came to know an OD helps adventures grow. It's bigger than an idea can be. It's wonder, joy, and curiosity. Micaiah, honey, you're my special oh dear girl. Always chasing wonder in this great big world. We'll forever fly together through adventures near and far. Grandpa's little oh dear girl, that's exactly who you are. Don't lose your wonder as you grow. Keep asking questions, always know a childlike faith can light the way through every dark and stormy day. Keep loving people when they hurt, see their value and their worth. Your tender heart is such a gift, a way for broken hearts to lift. What grand ideas wait ahead, what beautiful stories will be spread. Grandpa may not know the road, but God already holds the map, you'll know. Micaiah, honey, you're my special oh dear girl. Always chasing wonder in this great big world. We'll forever fly together through adventures near and far. Grandpa's little oh dear girl, that's exactly who you are. You were made for something bright. So keep your vision in your sight. The road gets rough sometimes, it's true, but God walks every step with you. And wherever life may lead your heart, Grandpa's love won't drift apart. Because forever, don't you forget, my sweet Micaiah, we're adventuring yet.
Pretty cool, huh?
That's awesome.
And Jonathan, he inspired that when he wrote his song, and he only got to write one song that I'm aware of, and he never got to hear it sung. What, 6 years before he died? Never got to hear it sung. So it was wild yesterday when the four granddaughters were dancing with their stuff, and it was just, and the song was playing, and it's just like they're not gonna realize the significance of what that song is. They're not gonna realize what it is until later in life, but their mom does, to some degree, to a large degree. Anybody else have anything else? And again, 30 minutes. Anything beyond that is a gift from you to me to you, and us to one another. So you can take off anytime. Any other thoughts or questions? So Karen, do you know why you come here? Looks like Karen might have frozen up. So, are you here, Karen? So Karen, she's the one that smiles on the pickleball court. Everybody likes her. She's so popular. She gets her picture and in front of, out in front of everything, and has a testimony, which is really cool. Yeah, Mark's not going to be that person. And it's okay because there's different parts of the body, right? But the parts seem to struggle in being able to flow. So people have an impression of Mark on the pickleball court. Like, he doesn't smile. He just doesn't. But once you get to know him, he's kind of a funny guy and self-deprecating. And, the ones that I play with, they all are like, yeah, he is a very, very intense pickleball player. Like, he plays to win, and, and it's a little intimidating. But if Karen were to share this song, or one of the other songs, I don't know which one, but any of the songs, but this one especially. This one, because there's so many retired people that have grandchildren there. Like, this one would be like, dang, how does somebody not smile on the pickleball court? How does he come up with something like this guy? This guy's got a lot of heart. He wrote the song for his granddaughter. Yeah. Rosanna said, all the other ones, you want one now. Right? And the kids, have 6 more to go on the kids too. And so I think the thing that I love most about the songs is that you can be a Mary and a Martha. You can be both. You can do like you can have deep significance things like she's 6 years old and her sister is like she's 4. She's like, I want a song, Grandpa, too. Like, honey, Elena, you'll have a song, sweetie. She's like, but it's not my birthday yet. So when I turn 5, Grandpa, then you'll go ahead and make a song for me. Like, okay, honey. But there's it's getting so hard to get the value system. Like, yes, you're special. I mean, something we struggled with our children. It's like when you're raising them, how do you like, yes, you're special. You're one of a kind. You are amazing, but you're no better than anybody else. Like, get that through your thick skull. Like, you're not the center of the universe. You're just not. You're just not. Jill, Rosanna, anything else either of you have?
No.
Rosanna, anything you got?
I think I'm good.
Nice. Nice. All right. always remember we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. If we're in flow, I should add that. If we're in flow, we can accomplish more together. If we're out of flow, might be more able to accomplish more individually. So have an amazing day. Bye-bye.